Hello everybody, welcome back to Road Reg. You join me here today in my M140i, a car that I have done just under 45,000 miles in and have had for just under 7 years. Now, 7 years is a long time, but 45,000 miles, give or take less than 200 miles, isn't a lot of miles. This is a performance car and it has been driven like a performance car. Where I can drive it like a performance car. It's done a few track days, but not only that, there's another M140i just gone past. Very nice. A black one with yellow headlights. If you're watching, I saw you, buddy. When I get an opportunity, I like to drive this car how it was intended to be driven. And it loves being driven hard. I mean, look at this, look. We're cruising, Sport Plus, foot down. Hang on a minute. And I'm braking already because we're approaching the speed limit. This car can go from cruising to that sort of driving very quickly. But what I mean by that, guys, is this car has been driven like a performance car. However, it has been maintained to the highest of possible standards that I can possibly achieve. Anything you can think of, I've tried my best to look after this car. I've even changed the gearbox oil at about 35,000 miles. And the reason I did that is because I did a few track days before that point. So I did Nürburgring, I did a couple of sessions at Bedford on different occasions, and Bedford is quite harsh on cars because it's long straights, long fast corners. You put a lot of G-force through the car, you put a lot of stress on the tyres, a lot of strain on the engine. I have been super anal about maintaining this car before and after track days and just in general. So for example, back in the day when I was doing track days, I'm not doing so many, well, if not any at all at the moment, but when I was doing track days, I would get the oil changed before, so it was perfectly fresh, and then I would change the oil after the track day too, because obviously with the heat, the oil will break down and it won't be performing like it was when it was freshly put in the car, because that's just the nature of the business, you know. When you're putting serious heat cycles through that oil, it's gonna not perform as it was when it's fresh. Day-to-day driving, you change your oil every 6,000 to 8,000 miles, that's fine, but when you're on the red line doing 150 miles an hour, braking hard, accelerating hard, just putting that load through the engine and the heat cycles, the oil, I just wanted to get rid of that oil and put fresh oil in there. I changed the gearbox oil at 35,000 miles because I did a few track days, and obviously that puts a lot of strain on the gearbox. And normally, I think the general consensus with changing oil on a gearbox would be 50 to 60,000 miles, but I shortened that by half because of the track days, and that's just the sort of person I am in terms of servicing the car. But most importantly, I would let the engine and gearbox warm up, because if you drive it and you just from the get-go just start redlining it, that's crazy, and that's just going to wear your engine out. And I know that most of you watching this video won't be the sort of people to do that, and if you are, then now is the time to stop, because look, not everybody has mechanical sympathy. I've met people before that have M3s who have no idea about what that car is, what the engine is, or how it should be maintained. And I'm talking about the E46 M3, which has the S54 engine, which does suffer with BMW's infamous rod bearing failure. I don't think it's as bad as sort of the S60 engine? Basically the V8 and the V10 in the E90 M3 and the E60 M5. I don't think it's as bad as that, but it can suffer from that rod bearing failure. Those are the sort of people who highlight those problems more so than someone like me. If I was to own that car, I would know about these problems before driving it or purchasing it. And if it was a brand new car and those problems haven't been discovered yet, like I am with this car, because when I bought this car, it was basically brand new. The B58 had only been out since 2015, and any major problems hadn't been really discovered yet. So going into this car brand new, I wanted to basically make sure this car was reliable by over-servicing it. I say over-servicing. To a normal person, you would say that's over-servicing, but that's normal servicing for a car enthusiast. And so far, I think the proof has been in the pudding, because this car has been absolutely solid. Apart from a few things, and that is why I'm doing this video. And I wanted to give you a bit of context about how I drive the car and how I maintain it before we go into it. So now you know that, let's start talking about things that have gone wrong on this car. So the first thing that went wrong on this car, and probably the most significant, because, well, we'll get into that in a second, but the wheel speed sensor failed. One of them did on the rear axle, and that caused the car to go into limp mode. Now, that's the reason why I'm saying it's significant, because when the car's in limp mode, it's basically running on protection mode, which is not a very nice thing to experience because the engine is not making as much power as it should be. The gearbox is all over the place. It's holding onto gears. It's really jerky. It's just not very nice, and for obvious reasons the car's done that because there is a fault. So it's like, hey, I am not well, I need you to fix me, therefore I'm not going to perform like I should be because I'm sick. Luckily I managed to find the sensor for about £40. I can't remember how much it cost me to fix it. I don't think it was much. It would have been around the £50 mark, so let's say 100 quid all in to fix that problem, and I haven't had any problems with it since. And that was the first thing that went wrong. And the second thing that's gone wrong on this car, funny enough, I noticed this when I was having my tyres changed. It was the rear bump stops. Now, those were the original bump stops on this car. I put the Bilstein B8 dampers on this car, but I didn't change the bump stops to M Performance. I remember reading on the forums about people changing to M Performance bump stops, and I thought to myself, do you really need to do that? What's the difference? Now, I think it's a combination of not having the M Performance bump stops, but also just wear and tear. They are made out of rubber, so they perished and failed. Got a new set, I think from like, I can't even remember. It was £38 for the M Performance bump stops, and probably again around 30 to 50 quid to fit them. And that was that, sorted. Quite a straightforward fix. Nothing mechanical really, just general wear and tear. But I do recommend getting the M Performance bump stops rather than using the stock ones if you're going to get the B8 dampers, which is a mistake I made. And the M Performance bump stops I think are slightly stiffer than the standard BMW bump stops, so having the slightly stiffer bump stop might just help it sort of not break down and perish so quickly as it did with me. I'm just going to have a quick sip of water because I'm talking, obviously. So the final thing that has gone wrong with this car hasn't necessarily gone wrong yet, but is on its way out, and that is a handbrake retaining clip. Now, this was spotted when I took my car for its most recent service and inspection. The guys at BMR Performance, they are fantastic, by the way. If you have a BMW and you're local to them, there's lots of good BMW specialists, but these guys are the closest to me, and they've been looking after my M140i since I started taking it there about 3-4 years ago. They're tremendous people, and they're reasonably priced, and they are as OCD as you and I are. They said to me that the longer I leave it, the worse it's going to get in terms of it might start rattling and making a very annoying noise. And I got them to send me a quote through to do it. The clip itself is cheap as chips, but the problem is getting to it is slightly tricky and requires a little bit of labour. So it's the most expensive repair I need to do on this car. So that's basically it, guys. We had the wheel speed sensor, the bump stops that perished, and now a handbrake retaining clip. Those are very minor things to have go wrong with your car in 7 years with 45,000 miles on the clock. A car that's been driven, you know, with some vigour.
Timing this
every now and again, so you're expected to have a few little things go wrong, but I think that is not bad going. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. If you like this video, please leave me a like and a comment in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. And if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to Road Reg. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.